Hyperion by Friedrich Hölderlin, page 73. Hyperion to Bellarmine. It is vain. I cannot hide it from myself. Wherever I flee with my thoughts, be it up to the heavens or into the abyss, to the beginning and to the end of time, even if I turn to that which was my last refuge, which consumed every other grief in me, which burned up every other joy and woe of life for me, in the flame in which it revealed itself, even if I cast myself into the arms of that glorious secret spirit of the world, plunge into its depths as into the boundless ocean, there, even there, the sweet terror finds me. The sweet, brain-turning, mortal terror that Diotima's grave is near me. Do you hear? Do you hear? Diotima's grave! Yet my heart has grown so quiet, and my love was buried with the dead one whom I loved. You know, my Bellarmine, that for a long time I did not write to you of her. And when I wrote to you calmly, or so I think. So what is it now? I go down to the shore and look across to Caloria, where she rests. It is that. Oh, may no one lend me his boat, may no one have pity on me and offer me his oars and take me across to her. May the kindly sea not remain calm, that I may not cut myself a piece of wood and swim across to her. But let the sea rage, and I will fling myself into it and ask its waves to cast me on Diotima's shore. Dear brother, I comfort my heart with all sorts of imaginings. I pour myself many a sleeping potion, and surely it would be nobler to free oneself forever than to make shift with palliatives, but who does not fare likewise? So I am content to have it so. Content. That would be a fine thing. That would be the help that is needed, where no God can help. Softly now. I have done what I could. I call on fate to give me back my soul. Hyperion to Bellarmine. Was she not mine? Ye fatal sisters, was she not mine? I summon the pure springs to witness, and the innocent trees that saw and heard us, and the light of day and the ether, was she not mine? At one with me in all the various music of life. Where is the being that knew her as mine did? In what mirror, as in me, were all the rays of that light concentrated? Was she not joyously terrified by her own splendor, when first she became conscious of it in my joy? Where is the heart that filled her, and was filled by her like mine, that existed only to embrace hers, as the eyelash exists for the eye? We were but one flower, and our souls lived in each other like the flower when it loves and hides its tender joys in its closed cup. And yet, was she not torn from me, like a crown usurped and laid in the dust? Hyperion to Bellarmine. Before either of us knew it, we belonged to each other. When with all the homage of my heart blissfully conquered, I stood before her saying nothing, and all my life offered itself up in the gaze of my eyes that saw only her, embraced only her, and she in turn looked at me in tender uncertainty, not knowing where my thoughts had come to rest, when often absorbed in delight and beauty I watched her at some charming task, and about her slightest movement, as the bee about the swaying twig, my soul darted and flew. And when then she turned to me in calm thought, and startled by my joy had to hide my joy from herself, and sought for peace in her dear task again, and found it. when in her miraculous omniscience she caught every harmony, every dissonance in the depths of my being, and revealed them to me before I was even aware of them. When she saw every shadow of a cloud on my brow, every shadow of melancholy, of pride, on my lips, every spark in my eyes, when she listened for the ebb and flow of my heart, and sadly foreboded troubled hours, as my spirit spent itself too intemperately and prodigally in exuberant speeches, when the dear being showed me every change in my face more faithfully than a mirror, and often in loving concern reproved me for my unstable being, and scolded me as one scolds a cherished child. When once, innocent Diotima, you counted on your fingers the steps that led down from our mountain to your house, when you showed me your walks, the places where you had been wont to sit, and told me how the hours had passed for you then, and said at last that now it seemed to you as if I had always been there too. Had we not then long since belonged to each other? Hyperion to Bellarmine. I dig my heart a grave, that it may rest. I spin a cocoon about myself because it is winter everywhere. I wrap myself against the storm in blissful memories. One day we were sitting in Diotima's garden under blossoming almond trees with Notara, such was the name of the friend in whose house I was living, and a few others who, like ourselves, were among the nonconformists in Calodia, talking, among other things, about friendship. I had scarcely joined in the conversation. For some time I had avoided saying much about things that lie closest to the heart. So taciturn had my Diotima made me. When Harmodius and Aristogiton were alive, someone cried at last, friendship still existed in the world. That pleased me too much for me to remain silent. We should twine you a wreath in reward for those words, I cried. But have you really any notion, any image of the friendship between Aristogiton and Harmodius? Forgive me, but by the ether, one must be Aristogiton to have a sense of how Aristogiton loved, and surely he must not fear lightning. Who would be loved with Harmodius's love? For I am mistaken in everything, if the terrible youth did not love with all the sternness of Minos. Few have come off successfully in such a test, and it is no easier to be the friend of a demigod than, like Tantalus, to sit at the table of the gods. But, by the same token, there is nothing more glorious on earth than when such a proud pair as they are so sovereign over each other. This is my hope, too, for my longing, and my joy in solitary hours, that such noble tones, yes, and nobler, must yet sound again in the symphony of the world's course. Love brought to birth millenniums filled with living men. Friendship will give birth to them again. Once upon a time the people set forth from the harmony of childhood. The harmony of spirits will be the beginning of another history of man. Men began and grew from the happiness of the plant, grew until they ripened. From that time on, they have been in ceaseless ferment, inwardly and outwardly, until now mankind lies there like a chaos, utterly disintegrated, so that all who can still feel and see are dizzied. But beauty forsakes the life of men, flees upward into the spirit. The ideal becomes what nature was, and even though the tree is dried out and weather-worn below, a fresh crown has still sprung from it and flourishes green in the sunlight as the trunk did once in its days of youth. The ideal is what nature was. By this ideal, this rejuvenated divinity, the few recognize one another and are one. For one thing is in them, and from them, the world's second age begins. I have said enough to make it clear what I think. You should have seen Diotima then, springing up and giving me both her hands and crying, I have understood it, beloved, much as it means, understood it all. Love bore the world, friendship will bear it again. Therefore, O ye of the future, ye new Dioscuri, therefore linger a little, when ye pass by the place where Hyperion sleeps. Linger in sympathy over the forgotten man's ashes, and say, he would be like one of us, were he here, now. This I heard, my Bellarmine, this was granted to me, and shall I not willingly go to my death? Yes, yes, I have already had my reward. I have lived. A god could bear more joy, but not I. Hyperion to Bellarmine. Do you ask how it was with me at that time, as with one who has lost all to gain all? To be sure, I often came from Diotima's trees like one intoxicated with victory. Often I had to hurry away from her, lest I betray any of my thoughts. So did joy rage in me, and my pride and my boundless rapture in believing that Diotima loved me. Then I sought out the highest mountains and their air, and like the eagle whose bleeding pinion has healed, my spirit moved in freedom, spread itself over the visible world as if the world belonged to it. Strange to tell, I often felt as if the things of earth were purified and fused together like gold in my fire, and something divine arose from them and me. So did joy rage in me, and oh, how I picked up the children and clasped them to my throbbing heart. How I greeted the plants and the trees. I could have wished that I possessed a spell to gather all the shy deer and the wild birds of the forest, like a happy family about my prodigal hands. In such blissful folly did I love all things, but not for long. And then all this was extinguished in me like a light, and speechless and mournful as a shade. I sat and sought for the life that had vanished. I felt no wish to complain, no wish to console myself. I cast away hope, as a lame man casts away his broken crutch. I was ashamed to weep. I was ashamed to exist. Yet, in the end, my pride burst out in tears, and the pain that I would have disowned became dear to me, and I took it to my breast like a child. No, cried the heart. No, my Diotima, it does not hurt. Preserve your peace and let me go my way. Let it not disturb your quietude, pure star, that there is a ferment and murk below you. Oh, let not your rose fade, blessed springtime of the gods. Let not your beauty age in the trials of earth. This is my joy, sweet life, that you bear carefree heaven within you. You are not made to become a pauper. No, you shall not see yourself destitute of love. And when again I went down to her, I should have liked to ask the breeze and try to divine from the drift of the clouds how it would be with me in an hour. And how happy I was when some friendly face met me on the way and called, "A lovely day," to me, not too mechanically. When a little girl came out of the woods and held out a bunch of strawberries for me to buy, but with a look as if she wanted to give them to me. Or when a farmer, sitting in his cherry tree picking as I passed, called down to me from among the branches and asked if I would not like a handful to taste. Those were good omens to my superstitious heart. If one of Diotima's windows stood wide open toward the road by which I came down, what good that did me. Perhaps she had been looking out of it not long before. And now I stood before her, breathless and wavering, and pressed my crossed arms against my heart, that I might not feel its trembling, and as the swimmer struggles out from the clutching tide, so my spirit strove and struggled not to drown in endless love. What shall we talk about, I wonder? I would cry. It is often difficult finding a subject from which one's thoughts will not stray. Are they off into the air again? My Diotima answered. You must fasten lead to their wings, or I will tie a string to them, as a boy does to a kite, so that we shall not lose them. The dear girl was trying to help us both out by jesting, but it was little use. Yes, yes, I cried, whatever you say, whatever you think best. Shall I read aloud? Your lute is probably still in tune from yesterday, and I really have nothing to read. You have more than once promised, she said, to tell me of your life before we came to know each other. Will you not do it now? True, I said, my heart plunged into it eagerly. And I told her, as I have told you, of Adamas and my lonely days in Smyrna, of Alabanda, and how I was parted from him, and of the strange sickness that afflicted my being before I came over to Calauria. Now you know all, I told her calmly when I had ended. Now you will find me less objectionable. Now you will say, I added with a smile, do not laugh at this Vulcan if he limps, for the gods have twice flung him down from heaven to earth. Be still, she cried in a choked voice, and hid her tears in her handkerchief. Oh, be still, and do not mock your destiny, your heart, for I understand them, and better than you do. Dear, dear Hyperion, you are indeed hard to help. Do you not know, she continued, raising her voice, do you not know what you are starving for, the one thing that you lack, what you are seeking as Alpheus his Arethusa, what you mourn for in all your sorrow? It did not vanish years ago. It is impossible to say exactly when it was there, when it went, but it was. It is in you. It is a better age. That is what you seek. A more beautiful world. It was that world alone that you embraced in your friends. With them, you were in that world. It rose for you in Adamas. With him, it set for you. In Alabanda, its light appeared to you for the second time, but more fiercely and searingly, and so it was like midnight about your soul when you found him gone. Now do you see, too, why the least doubt of Alabanda could not but become despair in you? Why you repudiated him, only because he was not quite a god. It was no man that you wanted, believe me. You wanted a world. The loss of all golden centuries crowded together as you felt them in one happy moment. The spirit of all spirits of a better time. The strength of all the strength of heroes. You wanted one man to take their place for you. Do you not see now how poor, how rich you are? Why you must be so proud and so downcast? Why joy and sorrow visit you in such dreadful alternation? It is because you have everything and nothing. Because the phantom of the golden days that must come belongs to you and yet is not here. Because you are a dweller in the region of justice and beauty, are a god among gods in the beautiful dreams that steal upon you by day. And when you awaken, you find yourself standing on the soil of modern Greece. Twice, did you say? Oh. In a single day you are flung from heaven to earth 100 times. Shall I say it? I fear for you. You can ill endure the destiny of this age. You will yet attempt many things. You will. Oh God, and your last refuge will be a grave. No, Diotima, I cried. No, by heaven, no. So long as one melody still sounds for me, I fear not the deadly stillness of the wilderness under the stars. So long as the sun shines and Diotima, there is no night for me. Let the death bell toll for every virtue, yet I hear you, the song of your heart, oh, you whom I love, and find immortal life while all things else sputter out, fade away. Hyperion, she cried, what are you saying? I say what I must. I can no longer hide all my bliss and fear and anxiety. Diotima, yes, you know it, you must know it. You must have long since seen that I perish if you do not reach out your hand to me. She was astonished, bewildered. And it is I? She cried. It is I in whom Hyperion would seek support? Yes, I wish. Now, for the first time, I wish that I were more than a mortal maiden, but I am to you what I can be. Oh, then you are all to me, I cried. Oh, wicked hypocrite, what then of humanity, your last and only love? Humanity? I said, let humanity make Diotima its watchword, and paint your picture on its banner, and say, today shall the divine have victory. Angel from heaven, what a day that would be! Go, she cried, go and show heaven your transfiguration. It must not be so close to me. You will go, will you not, dear Hyperion? I obeyed. Who in my place would not have obeyed? I went. Never before had I gone from her thus. Oh, Bellarmine, it was joy, serenity of life, divine peace, heavenly, wondrous, unfathomable joy. Words avail not here, and he who would seek her like has never known her. The one thing that could express such a joy was Diotima's own singing when it floated between height and depth in the golden mean. Oh, ye meadows on the banks of Lethe, ye sunset paths to the woods of Elysium, ye lilies by the valley streams, ye garlands of roses about the hill, I believe in you in this gracious hour, and say to my heart, there you will find her again, and all the joy that you lost.